Alright, level 1 companion. Item rating 340, no legendary implants, no obs. This is my second attempt at recording the audio because I forgot that my mic was not recording when I recorded the gameplay footage, and I don't want to go through it again. So I can take a moment now to talk about the thumbnails. The YouTube recommended thumbnails have been really shit. Alright, so for these enemies here, I don't like to line of sight them, but some people do. It can sometimes be faster than fighting them normally, but they are already clustered, so I don't recommend it most of the time. But yeah, just because look, it's a pretty good distance between where you need to knock them back from and where you need to knock them back to, and there is a lift to stop them. So it's generally better to just to fight them where they are, because they're already grouped up. So like, in the time that it takes for them to run all the way around, and for how few of them you're probably going to be able to knock off, it's just not worth it. And people also like to line of sight those to right here, and that makes even less sense, because once again, they're already grouped and they're melee. If you're not melee, you can still run up, and the dogs will attack you. And if you are melee, then they're going to run up to you anyway, because you're right there. So it's like there's no reason to line of sight this second mob. Hey, there's barely a reason to line of sight the first. There's no reason to line of sight the second. But anyways, again about the thumbnails. So the thumbnails that's been recommended, YouTube has been recommending, have been really awful. Like it'll be like, here's a hologram of Darth Malgus and here's the hologram of Satele Shan. It's like, well, that's kind of useless because they all have that. I want to show something from the actual flashpoint, and the stuff that it can show from the flashpoint is just awful, like the worst possible still frames. And I just cannot be asked going through the timeline to find a good still frame to use as the thumbnail to make a PNG. Just because no one's been watching these videos, like it's just, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, think about it, like Cademimu and Mandalorian Raiders and Aethys, like these just aren't like really terribly interesting flashpoints. It's like, I don't know, I just don't want to take the time. So for the Revan flashpoints, I probably will. Because I definitely don't want those to just be, here's another hologram of Darth Malgus and another hologram of Satele Shan.
Not just by our arsenal, but the Cademimu Guard patrols the streets to keep you safe.
And maybe when the playlist is done. So yeah, I wish that droid could be skipped, but it can't. And then I also talk about here, when it used to be that you'd get attacked inside of this cantina, and then you got rid of the enemies that spawn for some reason. I don't know why. I'm glad they did, but it wasn't really necessary. And then you can use scavenging to open that, and I'm going to show you another low spot over here just for if you do, but I'm not going to use it because I have to account for the possibility. These are how-to guides to some extent, so I do have to account for the possibility. Yeah, you're just going to line of sight there if you haven't, but I have to account for the possibility that you might not have scavenging in your... you can have line of sight this next group, but it's a little bit more of a pain just because the spot is so... it's a little questionable, but you can do it. Those guys are all melee, so you don't really need to loast them. If you have slicing, you can open these little cells here, and there's 2 of them, so you can have 2 people with slicing, each get somebody with them. The second you aggro this droid here, the people will spawn in the doorway. And Sentinels and Marauders tend to throw their lightsabers at those dudes, and it very often will aggro the guys in the next room. Yeah, so very often you'll end up having to fight two different groups at once. line of sight spot over here. Line of sight spot over here. That one I do recommend because there are some hounds that spawn as part of this group, so they're really spread out. And for this boss, we actually will end up following the master mode strats in this video here, just because I don't do enough damage to be able to avoid it. Because if the droid arrests you or your companion, the stun lasts basically 30 seconds. It's basically a death sentence. What else? Oh yeah, the other thing to remember from Master Mode is that you want to keep that giant circle away from the other group members. Giant circle away from the other group members. And if one of your group members has it, you want to stay away from them, because it does a lot of damage in Master Mode. We're not slicing on this tune. If we did, we could hack that taxi there.
State your destination. All vehicles leave on time.
Alright, so it's the one that costs 0 credits. The other one is the taxi point you would have gone to if you had slicing. So, and then I also ended up talking about how the missile batteries that we can see on the map, and we can actually look over and actually see them just rendered in game. They have models. They do not match the scale of the missile batteries that General Orgel ends up firing in the final boss. In fact, his entire room is the size of that inner circle there, the innermost circle, and it's supposed to be 4 missiles, and it's barely enough to fill a single tube of what they actually are when rendered fully on the map. So just an interesting little tidbit.
Some of you have questioned the makeup of the Cademimu Guard. You ask, why have we recruited off-worlders? And I say, if a man like General Orgel wants to fight for our planet, it would be selfish to deny him that privilege.
You can line of sight those enemies there. I don't really recommend it because it's easy enough to just take them out. Because the cover that you'd be line of sighting them behind is so small. That's the main reason. So it's like the chances of it fucking up and you having to fight them normally anyway is just too great. So you might as well just fight them normally. With these guys here, you can skip them or you can line of sight them behind this thing, depending on bonus and you need kills. And they're a lot more consistent when you're hitting them with a knockback, or at the very least, you get them grouped up for AoEs. And here I show you without stealth how to make the jump, and that's where you get dropped off by the other taxi. So, and I'm looking here. I'm just realizing my mini map. I never changed it back. Anyway, I'm going to show you another skip that I learned recently. You can actually just jump straight down and survive if you land on this pole here. Heal yourself up. And unlike... So the Aethys jump was removed by someone from BioWare. Hopefully Broadsword is a little bit of better sports about that sort of thing. Like if they can't make the jump, it's an easier jump. If they can't make the jump, hopefully they don't remove it. As that is a nice little skip. It doesn't even skip that much, but for this guy, we technically follow the same stats as Master Mode. You do damage to him, he falls down some Ugnaughts, and then there's going to be a certain point where he stops taking damage and he's just immune. And then at that point, you're going to want to focus entirely on the Ugnaughts. Which I kind of got distracted and focused on the Ugnaughts during, which I shouldn't have done. Okay. And there you go.
This is general order for the intruders.
Most people skip right through all this, and I do recommend that.
You won't get any further.
So it's like, okay, do you DPS down the silver and then run all the way through, or do you just run all the way through, including the silver? It doesn't really matter. If you're late to the elevator, then you can also hide behind that forklift. That'll protect you from the turrets. You can use knockbacks on some of the stronger enemies to knock them down this well here. So you're going to want to kill this mob here, and you're going to want to kill this silver up here. And then once that's done, you're going to want to just run all the way through to the very end, with one exception, which we'll get to. Oh, here. There's another bioanalysis spot that I forgot to show. Here it is. I'm gonna hover over it in a second. There it is. I'm hovering over it right now. That's where the bioanalysis thing is. It gives you a little act dog. Anyway, so if you have the damage to kill this guy while running past this area, which you should if you're level 80, then you're going to want to kill him, because you're going to have to kill him eventually anyway. You might as well get him out of the way. And technically you have to kill this mob. What I try to do here is just escape into stealth as soon as the conversation was over. It didn't work. And I accidentally set off the heroic movement. I hate that they changed the, what do you call it, the escape combat move to no longer escape combat. It's like, why? It used to be so good, and now it's so useless. Anyway, so the only difference between this fight and Master Mode is that I think he starts off already firing the maximum, all three missile batteries, and he throws shackles at people's feet, like blue and electric. So you can either use movement breaks to get out of those, like hydraulic overrides or whatever. Otherwise, you're going to need to have an ally run up and break them for you. If you see an ally with them, then you're going to want to break it for them. This guy is quite the health sponge, so I'll see you in a year.
Whoever you are, listen. Those missile batteries are all that's protecting Cademimu. You can't take control from it.
This is Imperial Fleet Command. Planetary defenses are disengaging, and we've got the Governor's shuttle on scanners. We'll take it from here.
Alright, I believe I already mentioned that I'm not a fan of the thumbnails that they've been selecting, but hopefully it does a good job recommending something decent. If not, I'll figure something out. But yeah, definitely for the Rev and Flashpoints, you'll get good thumbnails. I'm not gonna let it just pick another Darth Malgus hologram for that one like this, because I'm really annoyed with how much Darth Malgus and Satio Shan holograms are dominating the playlist thumbnails.
I've returned from Cademimu.